Ezekiel Elliott is back with the Dallas Cowboys. Cool. Let's get into the video. We all thought going into this draft, the Cowboys were going to address the running back position. It felt like there was no way that this team could exit the draft without at least one running back in this class. And I was on record even talking about double dipping at the running back position because I had so little faith in the guys that they had in that room. And after the news today that the Cowboys are bringing back Ezekiel Elliott, that hasn't changed. It was reported multiple times pre-draft that this was more than likely going to happen. But I didn't think that it would keep the Cowboys from drafting someone, and I'm not completely sure if it did or not. With the way that the Cowboys like to operate, I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I thought the potential trade down in round 1 is what would allow this team to freely select a running back, because there were names in round 3 that I liked and had graded as third-round players. Instead, the Cowboys went with linebacker Maris Liufau. I'm butchering that name. I don't know how to say it. But I'm not saying that taking Liufau over a running back was a bad idea. But just for reference, here are a couple of names that Dallas skipped over in rounds 3 and 4. Marshawn Lloyd, someone that I don't really believe is a true workhorse back from USC. Jalen Wright from Tennessee, my RB3 in this draft. Bucky Irving, another guy that would have been a great pairing with Ezekiel Elliott, but isn't a true running back 1. Will Shipley, potentially the best pass-catching back in this draft. Ray Davis, Isaac Guerendo, and then Braylon Allen. By the time that the Cowboys' 5th-round pick rolled around, I didn't really love any of the names that were still available. So I'm glad to say that they didn't force a pick there. I like Kalen Carson, the corner that they did get from Wake Forest in round 5, but for them to know that they didn't have a pick for nearly 100 selections and not take a running back in round 3 was a little bit surprising to me. But because the team didn't go out and get a running back, it made this move a no-brainer to the Dallas front office at least. So they signed longtime friend Ezekiel Elliott to a 1-year deal. The soon-to-be 9th-year player is headed back to where it all began. Back to Dallas. Now, he's only been gone for 1 year, but what kind of back can we expect Ezekiel Elliott to be in 2024? In 2023, with the New England Patriots, Zeke had 184 carries for 642 yards. He averaged just 3.5 yards per carry and had 3 touchdowns. So think about what you got from Tony Pollard last year, which was 4 yards per carry. Zeke's about half a yard less than that. And no, it didn't come from Zeke having a ton of short yardage carries. Actually, for the back half of the season, Zeke was the Patriots' #1 back. He got a ton of work at the end of the season, and it wasn't very good. I know a lot of people are going to be excited because Ezekiel Elliott is a name that you recognize. But guys, let's be real here. It's not 2016 anymore. It's not even 2019 anymore. You're getting a less than average back. And trust me, I like Ezekiel Elliott. I think at this point in his career, he's good for that room. You have like 7 running backs right now. I like what he brings to the locker room. I like the veteran presence and what he can potentially help other guys with. But overall, Zeke right now is a situational football player that shouldn't be seeing more than 5 to 8 snaps per game. Pass protection situations, you're not really throwing the ball to him out of the backfield. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, that should be Zeke's role at this point. Now, this move doesn't really bother me, and it would more if the Cowboys had backs that I liked a little bit more, and Zeke was potentially taking away opportunities from those guys. But right now, you have Rico Dowdle, Malik Davis, Snoop Connor, Deuce Vaughn, and I just made a video about Deuce, and I think this is actually a really good move for him. I think it helps him get onto the roster because Zeke's not the same type of back that Deuce Vaughn is. But I am curious to know what happens with the rest of this running back room. And I know right now people are posting that Zeke is RB1 for this team. I'm not sure I really believe that, but if he is, we're in deep trouble, guys. This is not good. But for right now, I think your running back room looks like Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and Hunter Lipke. I think that's the Cowboys' plan going into the year at this point, at least going into training camp. Now, I don't think the Ezekiel Elliott signing really stops them from signing anyone else, trading for a guy like Dameon Pierce, a name that has really gotten a lot of traction on Twitter and probably would be pretty cheap. But the running back room at this point has a ton of bodies, not elite running backs, but just a ton of names. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. We should see in training camp how they plan on using these guys. Personally, the back with the most juice right now is probably Rico Dowdle, but we know that he's had trouble staying healthy throughout his career. After that, you have Zeke in a kind of third down role, and then you have Deuce Vaughn, who could catch passes out of the backfield, be a change of pace guy. And for all of those Deuce Vaughn fans out there, like I said, this is good for him. This does not push him off the roster. But overall, it feels like a very Cowboys move. They're familiar with the player, more so than another name like Dalvin Cook, who I think is actually more cooked than Ezekiel Elliott at this point. But that's all it comes down to. They're familiar. Ezekiel Elliott knows the offense, sort of. He wasn't here under Mike McCarthy last year, but he was with Kellen Moore, and things aren't completely different. But let's please temper our expectations, because this is not the Ezekiel Elliott of 2018, 2019. This is a 2024 Ezekiel Elliott, a guy with thousands of carries on his body at this point. Hopefully the Cowboys do it right. He's not running back one. He's a situational football player down close to the goal line, potentially pass blocking, stuff like that. What really worries me about the Cowboys and how they've handled the running back position over the past 6 years is they paid Ezekiel Elliott a ton of money in 2018. Fast forward to 2023, and they have neglected the position to this point to where you're signing a guy that's probably 4 or 5 years past his prime. The Cowboys have to find a way to meet in the middle somewhere. Don't draft a running back in the top 20 or the top 5, but also don't completely neglect the position to where you don't have a guy that's a legitimate NFL running back at this point. And that feels like where we're at with this front office. They either give somebody the biggest running back contract we've ever seen, or they don't sign anybody that has averaged over 4 yards per carry throughout their NFL career. Can we find a way to meet in the middle somewhere? But what do you guys think about the signing? Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye.